What if the last digit of your birth year isn't just a number, but a map your soul left behind? Carl Jung believed that nothing in life is random. Every pattern holds meaning. Every symbol points inward. While most people overlook numbers as purely logical, Jung taught that the unconscious speaks in archetypes, and numbers are part of that sacred language. What you're about to discover isn't numerology for entertainment. It's a mirror, and the reflection may reveal more than you expect. Because behind that final digit is more than identity. It's energy. It holds the key to your emotional patterns, your shadow, your strengths, and the kind of prosperity your soul is here to unlock. Some carry the fire of leadership. Others, the wisdom of healing or the freedom of transformation. And the moment you decode your symbolic number, you stop living by chance and start living with clarity. Get ready to meet yourself in a way you've never seen before. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you were born in that exact year, not just as a matter of time, but as a spiritual choice? Carl Jung believed the universe doesn't speak in plain language. It communicates in symbols, synchronicities, and patterns. Numbers, in this view, are not coincidences. They're codes from the unconscious, carrying messages that only make sense when we're ready to listen. The final digit of your birth year might seem small, but what if it holds the essence of your soul's energy? What if it marks the kind of journey you were born to walk and the internal power you must awaken to create true prosperity? If your number is 1, you hold the vibration of the pioneer. Jung spoke often of the hero's journey, the inner call to break away from the crowd and uncover the self beneath the masks. Number 1 represents the fire of beginnings, of stepping into the unknown with courage. People with this energy often feel out of place growing up, not because they're flawed, but because they were never meant to fit. They were born to lead. Your path to abundance isn't about following the system. It's about creating your own. True wealth begins the moment you trust your vision enough to act on it, even if no one else understands. But this archetype isn't easy. The energy of 1 demands self-discipline and clarity of purpose. Without direction, your passion turns to frustration. That's why your journey isn't just about being different, it's about becoming focused. Prosperity flows when you align your drive with inner values. Jung believed that transformation begins with radical self-responsibility. You stop blaming circumstances. You start claiming your energy. This is where mental discipline becomes your ally, helping you shape your reality with intention rather than reaction. That's the true path of the spiritual leader you're here to embody. Now, if your number is 2, your energy is the opposite, but equally powerful. You came into this world as the harmonizer, the peacemaker, the one who senses what others overlook. Jung taught that sensitivity is not a weakness. It's a form of wisdom. Number 2 holds the archetype of emotional awareness. Your path to prosperity begins when you understand that your emotional intelligence is your currency. You naturally build bridges, hold space, and bring healing. But to thrive, you must protect your energy. Boundaries are not rejection. They are sacred containers where your gifts can flourish. Too often, those with the energy of 2 feel drained, lost in others' needs, mistaking self-sacrifice for love. But Jung reminded us, individuation requires wholeness. Your journey is about finding your emotional center and leading from it. When you start honoring your needs, your intuition sharpens. You attract relationships, opportunities, and abundance that reflect your true vibration. The world doesn't need you to disappear in service. It needs you rooted, clear, and radiant. That's when your presence becomes a blessing, and your sensitivity becomes your strength. If your birth year ends in 3, your soul carries the energy of expression. Jung taught that creativity is not just an artistic impulse, it's the psyche's way of healing itself. Number 3 is the archetype of communication, of turning emotion into language, pain into poetry, thought into vision. You weren't born to stay silent. Your prosperity begins when you stop editing yourself to fit in and start expressing what's real. Whether through art, voice, or presence, your words have weight. But true wealth flows not from performance, it flows from authenticity. This number brings the gift of inspiration, but also the risk of distraction. You may have 1,000 ideas but lack structure to bring them to life. That's where your inner work begins. Jung said that what remains unconscious will rule your life and you'll call it fate. Without direction, your creative energy becomes scattered. But when you commit to a path, to finishing what you start, something shifts. Discipline becomes your creative ally. And your expression becomes a magnet for aligned opportunities and real influence. If your number is 4, your soul carries the archetype of the builder. You are here to create foundations, emotional, mental, even physical. Jung emphasized the psyche's need for structure to support growth. Number 4 brings the energy of order, consistency, and trustworthiness. Others may chase novelty, but you bring solidity. Prosperity comes to you through reliability, when your thoughts, actions, and values align. You are the one who makes things last. You create systems that support not just your success, but the success of others. This vibration thrives in clarity and purpose. But the shadow of 4 is rigidity, resisting change, fearing risk, holding too tightly to what feels safe. Jung warned that over-identifying with one function can block wholeness. So your task is to remain grounded, not stuck. When you learn to adapt without losing your core, your strength becomes sustainable. Prosperity isn't about control. It's about creating strong structures that can evolve. That's how you build a life where discipline supports freedom and stability becomes a platform for impact. Together, numbers 3 and 4 remind us that true abundance is born when expression meets execution. The artist must learn focus. The builder must embrace creativity. Jung called this integration, bringing together our inner opposites to create something greater. If you carry one of these numbers, your path to prosperity lies in finding that balance. You are here not just to imagine or organize, but to give form to what truly matters. And in doing so, you inspire others to build a life that reflects their soul. If your birth year ends in 5, you embody the archetype of transformation. Jung believed the soul evolves through tension, crisis, and change. Number 5 holds the energy of curiosity, freedom, and movement. You weren't born to stay still, you were born to explore. But without direction, this energy can become chaotic. Your prosperity begins when you stop running from discomfort and start channeling your restlessness into conscious evolution. Growth becomes your path to wealth when you anchor it with purpose and let each change teach you something about your true self. This number thrives in expansion, but it can also scatter energy. Jung warned that without integration, the desire for constant novelty becomes a way to avoid inner work. That's why discipline is your spiritual tool, not to restrict, but to refine. When you combine your adventurous spirit with intentional focus, you become unstoppable. Your freedom becomes power. You reinvent not to escape, but to evolve. That's how abundance finds you, when movement meets meaning and experience becomes wisdom. If your number is 6, your soul carries the energy of care, harmony, and emotional leadership. Jung saw service as sacred when it comes from wholeness, not martyrdom. Number 6 is the archetype of the healer, the nurturer, the one who restores balance. People trust you, lean on you, feel safe with you. But your path to prosperity begins when you realize your energy is precious. You can't heal others by abandoning yourself. When you prioritize inner peace, you multiply your ability to serve with clarity and strength. Too often, this number attracts guilt and over-responsibility. You may feel the urge to fix everything, to absorb the pain of others. But Jung taught that wholeness includes boundaries. Self-care is not selfish, it's necessary. When you protect your energy, your light becomes more powerful. You shift from exhaustion to presence. Your care becomes conscious. That's when real abundance grows, through relationships built on mutual respect, emotional stability, and authentic love. Numbers 5 and 6 may seem different. One moves, the other holds, but together, they reveal 2 paths to prosperity: change and compassion, adventure and service. Both require presence. Both demand integrity. Whether you're here to shake things up or to calm the storm, your growth begins when you accept your nature and channel it with purpose. That's the journey Jung described, not to become someone else, but to become whole. And from that wholeness, everything transforms. If your birth year ends in 7, your soul is wired for depth. Carl Jung believed that true transformation begins in silence, through inner observation, spiritual study, and self-inquiry. Number 7 holds the archetype of the seeker, the one who questions, who reflects, who digs beneath the surface of life. Prosperity for you doesn't begin in the external world. It begins in the mind. When you learn to trust your inner voice and follow your curiosity with intention, you unlock the wisdom that guides not only your path, but also inspires others to awaken. The challenge with this number lies in overthinking and isolation. Jung warned that intellect, without integration, can become a barrier to wholeness. You may crave knowledge, but true prosperity comes when you embody it, when insight becomes action. Your gift is your ability to connect the spiritual and the practical, to find truth and live it. When you balance reflection with movement, mystery with purpose, you step into your full power. And that power creates clarity, direction, and meaningful abundance. If your number is 8, you were born with the vibration of power, mastery, and leadership. Jung taught that real authority begins with self-control. Number 8 is the archetype of manifestation, the one who turns vision into reality. You have a natural drive for achievement, but your prosperity only sustains when it's rooted in ethics, inner alignment, and emotional maturity. When you lead from integrity, not ego, your influence expands. Your presence becomes a force that uplifts, not dominates. That's how wealth becomes legacy. The shadow of 8 is obsession with control, success at any cost, or fear of vulnerability. Jung emphasized that integrating the shadow is the only path to true freedom. You're here to learn that power isn't about domination, it's about stewardship. When your ambition is guided by values and vision, prosperity flows with ease. You no longer chase outcomes, you create environments that attract them. That's when money becomes a tool, not a master, and leadership becomes service. Together, 7 and 8 represent the union of inner wisdom and outer achievement. One teaches you to go inward, the other to rise with purpose. Jung would say these are two sides of the same process: individuation. Whether you're here to search for truth or build a legacy, or both, your wealth starts with alignment. When your mind is clear and your actions are guided by soul, abundance stops being a goal and becomes a natural result of who you are becoming. If your birth year ends in 9, your soul came into this life carrying the energy of closure, compassion, and collective purpose. Jung believed the self evolves through cycles, and number 9 holds the archetype of completion. You're not just here to grow, you're here to help others evolve too. This energy is about giving, forgiving, and transcending personal limits. Prosperity comes when your heart leads, when you stop holding on to what needs to end and open space for what wants to begin. You are the bridge between the past and the future, a healer of generational stories. This number carries a deep emotional intelligence. You likely feel others' pain as if it were your own. But Jung taught that wholeness requires integration, not sacrifice. You must learn to love without losing yourself, to give without depleting. Prosperity finds you when you balance empathy with self-care. Your wealth is your wisdom. Your mission is to be a light for those still walking in darkness. But to do that, your light must stay lit. Honor your sensitivity. That's where your true strength lives. If your number is 0, you embody a rare vibration, one that defies linear understanding. Jung didn't write directly about 0, but his work on the unconscious points to this space of potential. Number 0 represents infinity, beginnings before form, the field of pure possibility. You may feel different, undefined, hard to label, and that's the gift. Prosperity for you begins when you stop trying to fit and start allowing yourself to flow. You're here to trust the unknown, to create from the void, to remember that what makes you unique is what makes you powerful. This number often attracts those who've felt invisible or disconnected. But Jung reminds us, the unconscious is where all creation begins. You are the mystery unfolding. Your journey is about surrender, not struggle. Prosperity comes when you allow your intuition to lead and release the fear of being misunderstood. You're not lost. You're limitless. The moment you stop resisting the unknown is the moment abundance begins to take form in your life. If you felt seen by what was said about your number, that's not coincidence. It's recognition. The soul remembers what the mind forgets. Go ahead and comment below. Now I understand my soul's mission. That simple act turns insight into embodiment. It grounds the energy, honors your path, and opens space for synchronicity. When you speak your truth, even in a sentence, you align your frequency with what's meant to find you. By now you've seen that the final digit in your birth year is more than just a number. It's a symbolic doorway. Carl Jung taught that our deepest transformation begins when we pay attention to the subtle messages life offers us. Each number carries a vibration, an archetype, a mission. And when you recognize your own energy in that pattern, something shifts. You begin to understand that your life was never random. It was always a coded invitation to wake up, to align, to prosper from the inside out. Prosperity isn't one path, it's many. For some, it begins with leadership. For others, with healing, learning, building, expressing, or surrendering. Jung would say that each soul is here to integrate its opposites and become whole. That's what these numbers reveal. Not a prediction, but a process. Not a destination, but a design. When you step into the energy of your digit with awareness, you activate a part of yourself that was waiting to be remembered. And that memory becomes momentum. This awareness is not abstract. It's power. When you understand your symbolic frequency, you begin to think with clarity, act with purpose, and attract what aligns with your truth. You stop living by chance and start creating by choice. That's the foundation of inner wealth. You master your emotional energy, your mindset, your direction. The archetype becomes action, the soul becomes strategy, and the journey becomes transformation. So ask yourself now, what did your number awaken in you? What truth did it bring to the surface? This isn't the end of your path, it's a beginning. You've been given a key. Now it's up to you to unlock the doors ahead. Your future is not waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be created. Through discipline, self-trust, and spiritual presence, everything you desire can be built. Your energy is your wealth, and today, you reclaimed it. If this message spoke to your soul, don't leave quietly. Subscribe to the channel and hit like to keep this energy alive. And most importantly, watch the video that's now on your screen. It was chosen for you to continue this exact journey. Let it guide your next step, because your soul didn't come here to repeat the past. It came to lead, to grow, and to prosper.